Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So these last 3 months, I had two serious heartache situations, and I learned two things from them. Well, the main thing I learned is that I there is one group of people, especially here in the Western world, who we don't like to think of. And second, that I'm kind of on my own here, and I need to make provisions for that. I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the heartache situations. First, 3 months ago, I was having a hard time networking here in the Phoenix area. I hadn't seriously dated in a very long time. And I got so desperate that I was making desperate mistakes. And also, I got physically ill. It was, in some ways, it was worse than when I had COVID, and possibly even worse than a few years ago when I had severe eczema. What had happened was that I had a lot of difficult times with networking with people, and I made so many mistakes that I really embarrassed myself in front of a number of groups, meetup groups that I went to. And eventually I got physically ill. Let's talk about one day when I got really ill, but this was not an isolated day. What had happened was after a day of frustrations with mingling with people, I had gone to a gas station in the downtown Phoenix area, and it's 7 o'clock. The sun had just set. You'll see why I'm setting it out like this. But I start pumping gas in the car, and the smell of the gas fumes was already making me nauseous. And this to add to the confusion, this homeless guy decided to dive into this trash can outside of the gas station at the pump. I don't know what he expected to find. It's a gas station. The pumps are right next to the trash can was right next to the pump. I don't know what he expected to find, but it made me very nauseous and sick. And I told him, I'm feeling very sick. Do you mind coming back after I'm done? It's only going to be 2 minutes. And I told him that I don't know if I have COVID. I knew it wasn't COVID. I said COVID because I thought that might scare him away. But he said he'll make it quick and all that. And I try not to look at him. I go back to my pump and I look the other way, but I'm starting to feel nauseous and I really needed to vomit. So I said, "Excuse me," and I pushed him away from the trash can. I vomited into the trash can. Not out of spite. I really needed to vomit and I didn't want to make a mess. And so he was so upset. He shouted obscenities. And so, long story short, I put the gas pump back and I sped away as fast as I could because I didn't want the situation to turn violent. I wasn't being spiteful, I was sick. And something else I noticed during that whole heartache season. You see, I as it is, right? I'm single and I'm the only one bringing home the income, and I needed to work, and so I didn't even get to take time to tend to that, and it was really upsetting. It was really upsetting. That was something I hadn't noticed. I'm not the kind of person to want to take off. Usually, when there's bad situations, I there are some people who take off work conveniently when there's unpleasantness at work, right? I normally don't. But that time I was really sick, and I don't have the luxury of just calling off work and potentially jeopardizing my situation at work, especially when I'm already dealing with heartache, right? And I it's kind of like it kind of reminds me when I was a kid. I don't know how many people are going to resonate with this story because this is from 30 some years ago now. I had a video game. Uh, I had a Sega Genesis video game system, and I used to love the game Sonic 2. Now, Sonic 2 had this weird feature. I don't know if you want to call it a feature or a glitch, but you needed a second controller, and another player could control Tails. You were controlling Sonic, and normally that wasn't a big problem. But you would go to the bonus stage, and Tails would really screw you over. And I really wanted to beat. So there were 7 bonus stages that I wanted to beat, and I remember using my feet to control the other controller. I got really good at doing that, right? So as a single guy, somebody who might be playing the game with somebody else could have 2 people control it. As a single guy, I kind of have to control both ends of the controller using weird hacks, right, in my life. And if there were 2 of us, right, one of us could work while the other was dealing with heartache situations or health problems or all that, right? But I didn't have that luxury, and as a result, everything just kind of went to shit really quickly. If it weren't for my friend at the church who set me up on this blind date and brought me all these connections, I don't know what I'd be doing. In fact, this very room that I'm living in right now, I found through the mutual friend of ours. My friend from church set me up on a date. She has become a close friend, not really romantic. She has become a close friend, and right now I'm renting this room from her ex-boyfriend, and also her ex-boyfriend has this alcoholic friend who lives with us, and he and I got into a really funny situation last night. Actually, he was upset that I was cooking dinner at 7 in the afternoon, and he thought it was too noisy. He wanted to crash on the couch after drinking, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 beers, and he was moaning about it. He was so drunk he couldn't even get up to tell me about his frustration. He was moaning about it. And here's the situation. He's renting the common living room area, probably paying a lot less than me renting this bedroom. I'm getting a good deal because of the connection, but he's probably paying a lot less. And he has the audacity, I hate to say this, audacity to complain that the kitchen has noises in it, right? And so I didn't even want to entertain his moaning. I said, why don't you talk to uh, our owner and see if you can rent one of the rooms, right? I just matter of just like I would tell a friend. I didn't even argue with him. I just told him, let's talk to the owner, see if he has a room available. I think he has other property too. I just told him like I were telling a friend a fact, right? And so that's good. This is under good circumstances. If I were still heartbroken, I don't know if I would be able to do that, right? So it was nice that I made a somewhat of a connection at least, right? Because let's face it, sooner or later, I'm gonna need his comforting on something. So that was good. I felt good about doing it that way, even though he was complaining. I was in Taiwan for my grandmother's funeral when I hit it big with a girl my last day of the trip. And unfortunately, I have to come home. And once again, I realize all the benefits of being alone and having to control 2 sets of controllers with my feet. And so now when I go to work and I see somebody who's struggling because of work-life balance with their family, I'm not so inclined to help them anymore because nobody helped me on these 2 situations, and it made me realize how much of the world I have to carry. And unfortunately, it doesn't get a lot of attention. We talk so much about maternity leave. Not too many people are going to talk about work-life balance that a single individual is going to need, right? Whether it be this kind of heartache situation, or God forbid, if I meet somebody and we want to meet, uh, I need some workplace accommodations to do that. Right? What about some future family leave of some sort, right? We kind of need that kind of concept, right? I mean, granted, there are people routinely take time off to tend to this, right? But it doesn't get to imagine that right. It gets lower priority probably, right? All right, thought I would point out some. Next time somebody asks me to fill in at an odd hour, I don't think I'm going to feel so guilty about not doing it because nobody was there for me, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.